Good morning. It is 10 o'clock. It is the 21st day of December, the 21st day of Vlogmas. The year is rapidly coming to an end, so it'll probably be time for me to do a year in review and some reflections. But first, I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming, the OGGM, and it's time for the news. What is going on in the world of our beloved hobby as the bizarre year comes to an end? And of course, the number one story is that the Margaret Weis, Tracy Hickman lawsuit against Wizards of the Coast involving what the hell's going to go on with Dragonlance has been dropped without prejudice. So, in the terms of legalities, to drop a lawsuit without prejudice means you can revisit it. But if you drop a lawsuit with prejudice, it means you cannot revisit it. So the story says it was dropped without prejudice, which means Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weis could revisit the lawsuit at some point in time in the future. Second, and most importantly, it was Hickman and Weis who chose to drop the lawsuit against Wizards of the Coast. Why? We don't know. I would assume that there was a settlement behind the scenes and they don't want to talk about it, or there was some agreement made involving the Dragonlance license, and they don't want to tell anybody to know about it. But there is a thank you note up that Margaret and Tracy put up. No word yet from Wizards of the Coast on their end, but that is probably the number one story, that lawsuit, one of the many lawsuits that is pursuing Wizards of the Coast, has been dropped. But it could be revisited, so who knows? Support me, Water. I will sell out, and I need sponsorship. Okay, what else is going on in the news this week? Well, this is not news because we already talked about it, but Paramount Studios has announced that a Dungeons & Dragons movie is going into production, and it is starring Chris Pine, best known as Captain James T. Kirk in the reboot of the Star Trek films, and Steve Trevor in Wonder Woman 1984, which will be hitting the studios on Friday. On the 25th, which I think is Friday. There's no information about it. It's in pre-production. We know it's scheduled to release in 2022. Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly are attached to it. Other than that, we don't know if it's Joe Manganiello's script, somebody else's script. We don't know if he's going to be the main character or one of many. We don't know anything about it other than there is a production going in with the name Dungeons & Dragons, which could also change, but whatever. Okay. Artisolian Games and Monster Fight Club have announced a D&D, a Cyberpunk Combat Zone miniature game, which takes place in the Cyberpunk universe. It's not turn-based, but it means we'll have some and if nothing else, it means we'll have some fun Cyberpunk figures to play with, so that should be fun. And speaking of Cyberpunk, obviously the other news, of course, is that Cyberpunk 2077 came out last week, has been heavily criticized for its buggy release and quality issues, as well as the supposed racism, sexism, transphobia issues that people are finding in it. And it looks like full refunds are being offered through the PlayStation Store, and Sony Interactive is also removing the game from any stores. There was a conference call on Monday where they talked to people, they took the wrong approach to the game release, they're going to fix things, and I guess we'll expect another re-release. The founders of the company lost over $1 billion due to the crash and fall of Cyberpunk 2020. So, did it fail because it was glitchy? Did it fail because of the issues? Or did it fail just because there was no market? Basically, it's, GTA with some new look, or whatever. I don't know. Pazio has announced some new releases, including the core rulebook for 2nd edition and the core rulebook for Starfinder in Pocket Edition. We know I love Pocket Editions. I've already ordered mine, so hopefully I will get them soon. There's a update on Pathfinder and Starfinder coming out for third-party publishers, including Savage Worlds. So we'll see some Pathfinder Savage Worlds stuff. That will be headed to Kickstarter in 2021. So we'll see, Pathfinder stuff converted to Savage Worlds. That'll be interesting. And there's a new playtest on the way for Pathfinder 2E for some new characters and stuff like that. Not a surprise as they're competing with, Tasha's. Paradox Interactive has announced some more new stuff for the Vampire Masquerade companion for the 5th edition, which they now hold the rights to. Vampire Masquerade has gone through a lot of roller coasters this year. So hopefully it will finally find a good home who can treat the material with the respect and love that it deserves. We have seen a trailer for the Paradox Interactive's World of Darkness Werewolf the Apocalypse video game. You can find that up on Steam. So apparently that'll be coming out for the PlayStation sometime in 2021 for $39, $49. So yeah, another Werewolf World of Darkness video game. If you didn't get a chance to see it, you can see it on YouTube. The cast of Stranger Things, some of the cast of Stranger Things, did a D&D one-shot over the weekend with the master himself, Chris Perkins. It was called Toy Time for 10 Town, so it sounds like it took place in the setting for Rime of the Frost Maiden. It had David Harbour, Finn Wolfhard, Gaetan Mazabo, and Natalie Dreyer. No sign of 11 in this one, unless she made a guest appearance. It was a pre-recorded, and you can find it on YouTube still. We also have a original series based upon the world of Chaldalda coming to YouTube sometime next year. This is a campaign setting based upon the home campaign of Peter Addickson, Wizards of the Coast founder and current CEO of Gen Con. It's a Greek, Egyptian, Norse, Babylonian, Celtic, and Japanese mythology and history-inspired campaign. It'll be a combination of live action and animation. 130 actors involved. Trailers available now on YouTube with a premiere scheduled for December 20th. That was yesterday. So obviously, if you want to see it, check it out on YouTube. The World of Chaldea. Chaldea. Okay, Humble Bumble news. This week's Humble Bumble is Pathfinder. There are 30 source books for Pathfinder 1 over on the Humble Bumble. Any funding from that will go to Comic Books for Kids. There's the Cyberpunk bundle has been extended again. We have Cyberpunk stuff dating back to Cyberpunk 2020, including some of the stuff I worked for. This benefits Able Games. Crucible 7 Warhammer bundle is still going with 19 books for the Grimdark setting. And it benefits Heifer International. That's the charity that, gives cows to people. And the Map Extravagant bundle is over on Humble Bumble. So that's licenses for campaign cartographer, city designer, dungeon designer, and any funds from that goes to Save the Children. Okay, and now, in closing, because we went almost 2 whole weeks without talking about it, but of course, somehow it reared its ugly head again. Tasha's book of everything is once again in the gaming news. Well, love it or hate it, this book can't seem to get a break, because once again, there is a whole new arsenal of complaints against Tasha's. So in retrospect, so far we have had complaints that the game that they said it was going to be more inclusive, and it wasn't as inclusive as they thought it was going to be, and other stuff. Well, now there is a complaint that the new rules for pets and new combat maneuvers and new feats and companions and stuff like that bog combat down. And now people feel that if you allow everything from Tasha's into your D&D game, it has become Pathfinder First Edition. It has become a very combat sloggy, slow, uninteresting game of just people looking stuff up going, okay, you have this feat and I have this power and we have this combined thing and then my pet's going to attack. And, where combat has now just gone from the quick, easy combat of Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, quick, easy combat of Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, to a slog. So once again, people are complaining about Tasha's. I complained about Tasha's from the very beginning because I didn't think there was any need for it. But let's just let's just think about that for the second, that since this product has come out, it has mostly received complaints. And the main complaints is, it doesn't do what you said it was going to do. Though, as I repeatedly said from the very beginning, Wizards of the Coast, whether you love them or you hate them, told you exactly what you could expect from Tasha's book. From the very beginning, from the very first hints, they said, this is what you can expect. This is what we're going to address. And this is what we're going to ignore. And that's what they did. So people who are expecting it to be more inclusive are disappointed because it's not as inclusive as they thought it was going to be. They did exactly what they said they were going to do. People who are upset because it didn't break the game as much as they thought it was going to break the game, you know what? It did exactly what it said it was going to do. And now people are upset because the new rules slow down combat and make the game more like Pathfinder. Well, this is exactly what it said they were going to do, and this is the stuff you people said you wanted. So really, they gave you what you wanted. They did it in a way they said they were going to do for almost a year, and you're still complaining. I don't know why. Support me, water. I'm thirsty. That's the news and review. The next time I talk to you next week, it'll be Christmas. Well, over Christmas. So hopefully you all get what you want, or at least you get what you need, or at least you get food and candy and somebody to keep you warm and tell you they love you on Christmas Day. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming. If you appreciate this content, comment down below. If you're planning on unsubscribing, let me know why you're unsubscribing, because I can't fix it if you don't tell me what's broken. And speaking of subscribing, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, please consider subscribing to the OG GM Adventures. It only takes a second and it doesn't cost anything. It helps you know when the next publication of the OG GM Adventures go up on YouTube, and it helps me know what direction you want the vlog to take. The goal is still 250 by the end of the year. I'm at 233, so who knows. Until then, I'll talk to you Christmas reindeer later. Ho, ho, ho.